Welcome back to Revealing the Hidden, where we take a deeper look into Jewish living. Okay, so last week we spoke about the notion of shalom, of peace. Building into the 3 weeks, I thought that it was appropriate to build some of these themes and to think about them in a more real way. And Chazal points something very interesting out. In Eicha we have, you'll notice in the Prakim, we go in order of the Aleph Beis. Many of the times the Psukim go in that order. And the Ayin and the Pei flip. And Chazal say that Klal Yisrael made the mistake of putting the Peh before the Ayin, putting their mouth before their eyes. Their mouth before their eyes. On a simple level, what that sounds like is that we made the mistake of making judgment and making decisions before really getting to know what was happening, which is very associated with Lashon Hara, with hate, with negativity against others, and it fits nicely. But if you are someone who is, I guess, familiar with Hasidic literature and deeper literature, the letters Ayin and Pei, and the notion of the eyes and the mouth can really draw out something else. The Ivarim of the body, the different limbs of the body were given to us to serve God. But there's like this weird thing where there's so many times that the mouth is highlighted as the number one kli that defines man, the number one vessel that we've been given to serve God with. And others say that the ayin is the number one kli, the number one vessel to serve God with. It's reminiscent of, in the Torah, we often get these Mamarei Chazal that will say, this is the mitzvah that's connected kulam. Shabbos is connected kulam. You keep Shabbos if you fulfill the whole Torah. Lashon Hara in the negative is connected kulam. Tzitzis is connected kulam. I believe there's tefillin is connected kulam. The Torah is connected. Learning Torah is connected kulam, which is the one that we really highlight and double down on and triple down on and quadruple down on because of its incredible impact and power with the Torah in particular. But there's certain items that if you're learning through the literature, say that thing is really important. And the ayin and the peh, the eye and the mouth, are two of those items. And I want to spend a little bit of time over the next day or two. I'll call it like a mini series, delving into these different Ivarim. Let's start with the eyes. The eyes are an amazing thing. The eyes, if you were to close your eyes and then open them, and all of a sudden you see something. So there's millions of packets of photons, little packets of light called photons that hit your eye and hit the back of your retina, and immediately you have this wave, this massive wave of yediyah, of knowledge that comes in. You recognize colors, people, faces, locations, and it all comes in at once in 1 second. In contrast to the ears, which we'll focus on in another shir, but in contrast to the ears, which hear something and hear something and hear something, and while you could gather information, nowhere near as much information as you can get from the eyes, at least not immediately. It's a much more complicated process. So the einayim are the primary way that you can recognize and know what's around you. Sometimes we have to use our hands for our eyes. You can't see, and you use your hands to recognize what's in front of you. Let's say it's dark, or other parts of the body that can reveal to us something that our eyes won't allow us to see. But on a simple level, the eyes are the way in. In the other direction, if you want to express a thought, if you want to express an idea, something that's on the inside, and throw it outwards, the eyes don't do that very well. The mouth does, which again will be our focus for tomorrow. But in contrast, so you have one primary part of the body that is totally and completely powerful in taking in, and I wouldn't say powerless. You could speak with your eyes to an extent, but very, very, very much less so than the way that you could speak with your mouth, the way that you could be sophisticated, direct, and even have nuance when it comes to speaking with the mouth. So the einayim's job is to take in. as take anything that's in front of you for the moment, and I want you to think about it and recognize that the thing that you are seeing is made up of trillions of atoms, and the atoms are built out of neutrons and protons in the center, with a positive charge on the protons, and electrons that are rotating. The metaphor that's given in the science books is you had a football field, right? That you'd have marbles in the middle of the field, and grains of sand would be the electrons on the outside of the football field. I recently was, zochet to be on a podcast with Dan Coleman, and Dan was pointing out to me that it's the same with the metaphor that's given for the sun and the rotation of the planets around the sun. So whatever it is that you're looking at right now, recognize that that's the ratio of empty space to reality. What you're seeing in front of you, right now I'm actually sitting in front of my work computer. So something that people think of as this incredible, a tool can be used to access the world and to make money and to speak to people. And yeah, it does have a lot of functionality. But in the end of the day, it's 99.9999% empty space, nothing. So you know what your eyes could do with that? You can look at that and you could take in God. You could look at your hand if you want. As I referenced yesterday, your body has over 60 trillion cells in it. The average human body, 60 trillion cells. And your bloodstream feeds it every day. A cell needs more glucose, or more water, cobalt, whatever it is that your body might need. I don't know why I said cobalt. I think I heard that once, but it may not be. And your body somehow figures out how to feed it. It's an incredible thing. And your body's constantly shedding old cells and generating new ones. And all you have to do is take a minute and say, wow, there's life. Every single cell is alive. It has a brain. It has a nucleus. And it has mitochondria to provide it with energy. And then all these cells work together, and then you have this new consciousness out of those cells. It's just, there's miracle, there's God everywhere. And your eyes are the ones that could take that in. What a blessing that we have. You could see God everywhere. The Jewish people, Hashem's children, Hashem's Bechor, His Am Segula, His Am Anivchar, your brothers. What do you do when you see them with your eyes? If you're makdim l'pela ayin, if you put the mouth before the eyes, you make judgment before you get to know them. What a loss. What if you use your eyes to see God? They're Hashem's creations. As Rabbi Nachman famously says, that the moment that you were born was the moment that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided the world couldn't go on without you. That's with every single one of them. You could choose to see God in them. The Einaim are the gateway to Emunah, the gateway to revelation. And if you learn to utilize them properly, your entire life can be experiencing of seeing Hashem. Everything that you take in, every single interaction can be uplifted to God. No wonder Chazal are going to tell us that the Einaim are the key to our entire life. Yes, there's way more to it. There's also the idea of learning Torah, right? That primary, you can learn the words through your eyes. The ears clearly play a role in that as well. We'll get there, but there's so much that happens with the eyes. Just to finish, as framing it within the context of Torah, we'll probably need another class for the eyes as well, but just to frame it in context of Torah. So, as the Torah opens, the first commandment that's given to Adam and Chava is not to eat from the Eitz Hadas. But the way that the Torah describes it is that they couldn't, because if they do, their eyes will be opened. And as soon as they ate from the tree, I think the Torah describes it as tov lemar'eh, nechmad lemar'eh, v'tov lemachal, pleasing to see and good to eat. It was like the Yetzer Hara first was the eyes and then the taste. And when they ate from the tree, it's described as tipakachna inei shneim, their eyes opened up. It's like the first fall of the entire universe happened with the eyes. The eyes were supposed to be the thing that was fought against, and see it the way you're supposed to, not see it as desirable. See it as, oh, this is the thing that Hashem wanted us not to do. This is my chance to connect to God by choosing not to do it. The Einaim could be a big tool. Like, how am I viewing this? I'm viewing this as a gift. I'm viewing this as a challenge. And at the end of the Torah, the last three words are Le'enei Kol Yisrael, that all the osos, the mufsim, the wonders, and all the things that were shown through Moshe to the eyes of the Jewish people. And so it's like the eyes fell and the eyes were lifted. The entire Torah is bookended with this notion that the eyes came into this world to do something and they did the wrong thing, and then they saw God's wonders through the eyes. Start your day this way. Look for godliness. Set an alarm. Set an alarm and look for godliness. And especially during the 3 weeks, look for godliness in your brother. Find him and see how precious he is. And more than that, how lucky you are to have him in your life. Another expression of tzelem Elokim in this world. Have a good day, an uplifting day, a healthy day, a tefillah answered day, a loving the Jewish people day. Kol Tov.